Google's politics and elections team in New York City. And joining me for this hangout is Susan Molinari, who has a rich political history and now leads our political unit in D.C. with Google. Susan, welcome to the hangout.
Thank you. Great to be here.
And we're also joined by Bill Harris, who is CEO of the Republican National Convention. And Bill, as I understand it, the upcoming convention, which takes place August 27th to 30th, this is your 11th convention, is that right?
That's right. And I have to tell you, this is the first time I've done a hangout in association.
Well, there's always a first for everything, and we've brought the two of you here together to talk about what it means for Google to be the official social networking and live streaming platform for the Republican National Convention and what people can get out of that. Susan, maybe you can talk a little bit about what that means exactly and what folks will be getting from that experience.
Well, first of all, Google is so excited and honored to be partnering with the Republican National Convention. I've known Bill Harris for probably all of those 11 years, and he does an amazing job at the Republican Convention. This is probably the first time that technology is going to allow him to sort of break down the walls of the convention, that the entire country, and some places outside the country, may be able to participate in a true democratic process, the Republican National Convention nominating convention. So it's going to give us an opportunity to reach audiences that have never been able to access the political doings during the course of a day, but also to be interactive with the people who are up there giving speeches and setting the platform for the Republican National Committee.
And Bill, how important is that to you and to getting the message out and allowing that access to people who want to be able to experience it but perhaps can't be there in Tampa? And through events like this, for example, we'll have hangouts, live streaming on YouTube. You know, what does that mean to the evolution of politics and getting it out to the people?
Well, it certainly is an evolution in what we have been able to do in the past. And if you step back just for a minute and you think about a national convention as a critical part of the political process, and we select one of the two people who will be contending for the leadership of the most powerful nation in the history of the world. And, you know, if you go back to the days when they first started, people went on steam engines and going, and our first one was in 1856. And you know, very few people could participate. And even at the last few conventions, you know, you have to participate in sort of a static but way by looking at traditional media. What we've been able to do now in this partnership with Google and embracing technology is to take this critical part of the American political process, we're talking about the leadership of this great nation, and to include more people in it to where they can participate, they can voice their opinions, they can understand better and have an opportunity to participate in what we think of literally as a convention without walls, where people don't have to actually go to Tampa, Florida in August 27, 28, 29, 30, but they can be anywhere in this country, and they can get a better understanding and form their own opinions in ways which they can more or less control. So I am excited about it, and it's a critical part of the process. We could not be happier with this partnership.
Susan, you spoke at a convention back in 1996.
Right.
This would not have been possible back then, but you know, how might that have changed the way that you interacted with folks or knew that you were reaching more people through something?
Oh, I think it would have been amazingly exciting to be able to think that there's somebody who might not be sitting near a TV to watch C-SPAN, but wants to watch their local elected official, or wants to watch a woman give a speech, or, you know, wants to be able to see something that they wouldn't be able to see because they're not near a TV. That they're going to be able to watch live video streaming, you know, instant updates on what people are talking about at a national convention. And not only that, what we're going to be able to do is, as people are coming off the stage, we're going to have what we call, you know, the red carpet moment, where we're going to be able to be behind stage talking to the people who are giving the speeches, in some cases with those people doing hangouts with their constituents, with the special groups that they may be addressing. So here becomes the interactive part of it, that not only will you hear a speech and see it in real time, you'll also get the thoughts and the feelings, and we can bring so much more. When Bill Harris talks about, you know, a convention without walls, what it does is it means that people throughout this country will be able to feel a little bit more what it's like to be at a national convention, the tensions, the excitement, the ambition that drives this very magical 3 days. from wherever they sit. So we're very excited to be participating with this convention so that we can bring more people into the political process during some very exciting times.
And Bill, how important is that participatory process? You know, these days people have devices with them on the go. You know, they're not sitting in front of their television, and if they are, they've probably got some other sort of a way to interact, whether it's a tablet or a mobile device in some way. So to be able to get that at any time, you know, how important is that sort of thing for the way that people are today with their lifestyle?
I think it's very critical because people are, you know, have a lot of priorities in their lives now. And they're conflicted where they go, whether they're on the move, and they don't have an opportunity many times to sit down and follow something all the way through. And one of the interesting things about a convention process is nowhere during the campaign cycle is there such an intensity of political thought and to where people have an opportunity to form an impression of a candidate. And it's in depth, and it's across several days. And they form an opinion which is the determinative on how many of them are actually going to cast their vote. So that we're very proud of who we are and what we're going to be doing. And so to our way of thinking, the more people that can participate in that process and understand what we're doing, we're happy with the decisions they will make at that point.
And Susan, you talked a little bit about that red carpet moment and how different folks at the convention can interact with people who aren't there. Maybe give me just sort of or give us a lay of the land. You know, what can we expect there? What will Google's presence there look like? You know, talk to me about that relationship.
Well, Google's really going to maximize and take advantage of the opportunity at this convention to sort of be everywhere all the time. And so one of the things that we want to do is when somebody leaves that stage and they still have their adrenaline pumping and they've given a speech that they've worked on, we're going to grab them. We're going to say, what does it feel like? You know, what are you thinking? What are your expectations? What are your hopes at this moment for this country? And then in some cases, we're going to open it up, just like we're doing this Hangout now. We're going to be able to have, you know, 9 or 10 of either their constituents. Let's say somebody's talking about small businesses there, somebody who's talking about veterans, an ability to get veterans to come and realize that they're an important part of our democratic process, and we want them to interact with us even if they can't leave where they are. It gives us that opportunity, and for whoever's watching, to realize that this interaction is really the ultimate guarantee of a democracy. The more people who can participate in a democracy, particularly at a nominating convention, the stronger our democracy is. And, you know, just as a fun aside, I guess I'd like to, you know, take my microphone and go into the stands and ask those people who have those strange hats on and those red, white, and blue vests under 6,000 pins and say, where do you exactly buy these things? It's a question everyone wants asked at a convention.
A roving reporter.
The roving reporter.
Bill, any final thoughts on what people can expect and the level of enthusiasm that's leading up to the end of August in Tampa?
Well, I think they can expect a very enthusiastic convention. I think that we now have a presumptive nominee in the Republican Party. I think people are very excited about that. They're very excited about the opportunity to put forth our platforms and our issues to the American people. I think I'm personally excited about the use of technology in this convention. I mean, one interesting thing, as a final thought, is that having participated in so many conventions, as you mentioned when we first started, you've seen the evolution of technology and how it's changed and how more people get their information in different ways. They make their actionable decisions in different ways. And that we're happy to be embracing ways in which more people can get that information. So we want people to understand what we're doing. We look to use this process very aggressively and capture that enthusiasm going into the fall.
All right. Well, of course, we're very excited about this partnership, and I want to thank both of you for joining this Hangout, maybe giving people a taste of what's to come at the end of August. Susan and Bill, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having us.